I will be, let me get my stuff on here, and I will be with you in just a second. I want to make sure that I got my apron on and make sure it fits properly. Goes under the collar. And hopefully you can hear me okay. There we go. Here, now I'm getting dressed. Let's start. We will be starting up here in just a moment. I've got to get my TV up and running here. Yeah, all right, it takes a second or two. Get all this going. That up. That up. And here we are. Good. Well, good morning, everybody. No involved here yet. Let's see. Hey, Johnny. Let me get my mic. There. Now I'm official. Can you guys hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up or something here and let me know. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Robert. Good morning, you all. I don't know what time it is where you are. It's sun's still trying to come up this morning here in California. Well, here's that brute that we've been dealing with, and just to show a little more fun here, look how deep this hole is. It is almost all the way to here, and I see no sign of it here. That's what's so weird. It's right there. So fortunately, we're kind of turned past it, except when we have to kind of hollow out the wall here. But I don't know how much. I don't know if there's more underneath here that I got to worry about, and that's the worry. And we've got about another inch or so to go here. So I switched out my wrists so I can get a little different angle at it. Maybe this will help a little bit. We'll see. It's not my favorite rest, but it may work for this. I'm just going to take a test run with the carbide here. Make sure everything's running smoothly. Whoa. I also want to make sure that it's mounted properly, hasn't moved much, because with that cracks on the back side there and letting it rest for a day or two. Well, it's probably about as good as I'm going to get out of it, because it wanted to fight me this whole way, but we're going to fight through it, right? You guys all came to see the crash anyway, so, or maybe not, but we'll see what happens here. So we'll get it up to a little bit of speed, not real fast yet. I just want to get some scraping speed here going. Starts to throw its weight around. Really kind of weird. Let's see. And I don't like this approach angle, but we'll try it. Oh, there it is. Kind of a double-edged problem. I go up just a little bit. Double-edged problem because I can't pick up the speed to make it easier to go over those bumps, and I can't avoid going into the bumps. So I'm kind of like, damned if I do, damned if I don't here. I might have gone a little too high. I know, Robert, you and I are always telling guys to raise or lower their rests, but it is an art skill. You know, you do need to get used to looking at your rests for each tool that you switch. You should reevaluate where you've got your tool rest, because every tool is slightly higher or lower. The cutting edge, at least, is higher or lower. It's a good thing to learn. Cutting a little better. And this is where the institution is. I'll take this back just a little bit. Mostly because I keep hitting my hand on it as I'm trying to get my hand inside here. That high side, I have to really kind of hold my hand back because this high side here, when it comes around, can hit my hand. So I got to be really careful of that, especially if I get the speed up some. Woo, just got me there. Yeah, well, we're making chips anyway. Who else is here? Hey, Michael. Glad you could join us. Hi, Johnny, Michael, Robert. Yeah. Welcome in, and please hit the like button if you get a chance, everybody. And yeah, something you don't see very often, using a carbide. Well, if you recall this this giant hole in here, I'm having to use some sort of scraper. I'm going to use my other scraper. In fact, I ordered a 1.5-inch scraper last night. Unfortunately, it won't be here until next week. So I'd have loved to have that. I think that would have been perfect for doing this type of work. And this is really punky right in the center here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just real. The grain is just going all over the place, and it's rough. Even though I'm using this, it's very rough. It's almost like grass. You know, it's like laid over grass. It's not like wood fiber. It's just fibrous. So I think for the moment, I'm going to use this scraper. Perhaps get by that a little bit. Get my hand in a little bit closer. time I go in there. See what we're looking like. You know, it's a little bit harder wood. It's just the wood is going this way. It's swirling around and it's coming back this way. So I'm in the middle of some sort of a what you'd call it exactly, but it's kind of almost like when you have burls and you have all these different woods going in different directions. It's kind of what it's like. I'm getting something hard right out here on the edge. Also. Of course, remember, the only thing holding this whole thing together is that little miter, that recessed miter that I have on the inside here. So this is all that's holding that, and it's crossing a crack when it's doing it. So I don't dare put too much pressure on this, because that crack loose at any time. And another thing to consider as we get near the bottom is heat. Because if you start heating up the wood, you get expansion, and that could cause that crack to crack also. So I know when you're looking at this from overhead, it looks like it's wobbling, but it's really not. It's steady. But I will check myself anyway. Yeah, it's on there good and tight. And if I'm looking right down this sight line, it's fine. But that outer edge always looks a little wobbly. And I went back and sharpened it again, because this oak really does a number on your edges. I can already tell that this I just moved this at the beginning. And it's already not as sharp as it was when I first started this morning. There's that hole. There's a hole right there. Carve that side out just a little bit more. It's a little bit harder wood, but I'm getting too much of a slant here, so I'm going to have to go in with a different one here. See if I can get some in the out of here. Okay, boy, that's actually shiny. Believe it or not, that's how hard this wood is. It's actually shiny after using that scraper. You can see right down in here, it's shining. That's damned hard wood. Take a break for a second. Who we got in here today? Hi, Mike. Stenifer. Good morning, Malcolm. Welcome to the team here. Hi, Robin. A sucky 3000 sound machine. Excuse me? Not sure what you mean by that, but okay. Hi, Alan. And Polaco. Nicola. Hey, Nicola, you made it back. Great. I appreciate that. You're right, Mike. A little more speed would help. Unfortunately, because of the way this piece of wood is built, basically, it is really starting to wobble when I do that. And because I got this hollow here and I got this heavy chunk of wood on this side, when it turns, I'll give you an example. It starts, you see there, it starts to do this at about 600. So about this I can do is about 550 or something right now. I wish I could go higher, but it's in balance as much as it could be. If you saw the video the other day, we were having trouble just getting this to stay rounded because the cracks kept forming and making a bigger problem. We got this huge hole here, so I have to be really careful how I do it. So it is what it is, and we'll just go at it and get the best we can out of it. I mean, it's a pretty bowl. You see, going up to 550 there did help a little bit. Oh, something's coming around there. What's banging? And see what again is I got that softwood, hardwood, right in the center. So when it's coming around, it's gouging because it's taking it out here and doesn't want to take it out here because it's fibrous, and it's just the fibers are going this way right here. So I gotta. It's just I don't want to knock my. I don't want to knock this out of its filter here. I got to be very selective how I do it. I got to be listening all the time. When I'm working with returners, it's one of the things I always teach. Listen to the wood. Listen to what it's telling you, not just what you're feeling. If it's slicing like that, great. I start running into a little bit of agitation somewhere. I want to stop and take a look and see what that is before I dig into it. And that avoids an awful lot of catches. You want to avoid the catches, right? Now listen when I get to that hole. That's that hole right there. This is when I'm below it. That's when I hit it. That's when I have to be really careful coming across it. Let's see if I'm getting past some of that. Now the swirls are coming this way. It's actually towards, if you look right here, that's actually considering that to be sort of a pith of some, even though it really is. If you look on this side, there is one here that would have been running maybe from here at an angle back. I don't know. Sorry. But it's just weird. The wood is all kind of going. This was a pith, but there's no evidence of it on the inside, on the outside. So I'm not sure what this tree was going through, but it had some exciting times in its life, I can tell you. The good news is we're getting down in there. And Michael, as much as I'd like to be using a gouge, I think using this like a scraper right now, this carbide, basically like a scraper. That's what I consider these to be. I think that's the way to go here. And then this is just a swirl in here. It's going to be fun trying to get that to be smooth too, because I'm making nice shearing cuts with this. It should be smooth to the touch when it's done. Instead it's rough like cowhide. That's what it feels like. Okay. Getting stuff out of that hole. Get this. Don't like to leave my watch on because I get stuff under my watch band all the time. Let's see. You can see some of that. I hope you can see some of that in there. Now I'm going to bring you in real close so you can see that. That's what I'm looking at in there. And this is all that rough stuff. I'm getting past a little of it, but you can see everything goes this direction here. So back out a little. You can watch the turning, but you see what I'm contending with here. We're getting further and further in here too. And as I'm turning, I'm looking here because that shows me where, in relation to this cut, where my cut is actually going, so I can see where I am going up the wall. It gives me a good idea of when I'm going to be getting near this. So it's all where your eyesight is. Always keep your eyesight to the other side. And then on the outside of there, you look at the top of the bowl, not where you're cutting. There's the hole. There's not the hole. I'll try to get this a little bit more out if I can. It reduces the weight and makes for a much better looking bowl inside. Now my preference would have been to do this at about a half of an inch or less, so maybe 3/8 of an inch. But I'm just not sure with this big hole how much down I can take this, and I still don't want to lose the bark too. So I'm kind of being conscious of all those things at the same time. Do a few deep. I'll come back and get that. I'll be able to worry about the sides a little bit more with a scraper when I'm done with this part. Okay, I'm going to do a little check here. Let's see. We are about here, which means we are about here. So we got about another 3/8 of an inch or so. Don't want to get into my bottom, but I think we can do about another 1/4 inch or so. So I'll try and establish a little bit of this. I do have a couple other good projects after this one. I think you'll enjoy. If you're in here watching, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button, or one or the other, or both, or leave a comment. Comments are always welcome, and actually, comments are watched by YouTube too, just so you know. They like to see that people are engaging in these conversations here. What happens with a lot of videos is there's an awful lot of conversation at the beginning, and then there's very little conversation later on. So feel free to get in there and talk whatever's on your mind. Feel free to have a conversation with others in there. Kind of a community thing. See how that's looking. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting a little bit of that fat out of there. There we go. It's looking more like a bowl all the time. I'm going to be able to go in a little bit more. Make sure I'm clear. Yep. Okay. I don't know if any of you know Jamie from Boondock Builds. You should. He's doing really great stuff. He's got a lot. He started using turning now too. And the other day he was asking about carbide tools. He said, "Should I get these or these?" And I said, "Well, carbide tools are great, but I said, look at the handle size too. You don't want something that's too small, because if you get a small tool like this, or I'll give you an example, this one here, if you don't look at the dimensions when you're buying, you end up with something this size. Okay, and this is great for small spindle work, but I wouldn't want to be going inside a bowl with this. Okay, you want something that's got a good sized handle to it and gives you some length. So, and also thickness. This is how you get. This is your steadiness. So make sure you're like 3/8 inch thick or so that you have really good control and less chatter. You notice I don't get too much chatter from this. Even though I'm getting a little overextended when I'm over on this side here, I'm extended about an inch and a half out. And with carbide tools especially, you want to be really close to the tool rest, or you start losing control. It's also one of the advantages of scraper. I'll show you that in just a minute here. I think we're kind of going along here. Finally got into some hard wood, it feels like. Of course, just as I'm finishing, we're getting into it. But it's now, see, it's hard and solid again. It's not that punky stuff that I was getting, but I am worried about this creating cracks here. There's a little bit punky right there. It's right in the center. So if I can get a little of that out, see where we're at. Yeah, we still got some room. Okay. Ooh, this is getting warm. Let's see if I can get past that punkiness a little bit, because it'll make for a better surface. See, that's starting to go away a little bit. That's good. Back into real wood. Now that is because I have the unbalanced top, not because it's actually wobbling. Breaking this out a little bit. This is where turners get hypnotized. They start going, wow, I can go one more straight here with that much better. And that's usually when one of two things happen. Either you end up with a window in the bottom of your bowl, or you get a catch and the whole thing goes flying off. So, I think I'm going to go to sorry about that. I think I'm going to go to the scraper here. See if we can't just start cleaning this up a little bit. See if I can get any more speed out of this. And it's still wobbling, but it's got a little lighter. I can handle the speed a little bit. Little tiny bit less speed. We're just scraping here. Kind of even the sides up a little bit. Well, I think, let me see here. I'm going to take a reading. I need to go to the middle. There we go. I'm right to about here. So yeah, I think I'm right at the bottom. After I sand out a little bit, I think that's about all I'm going to be able to do. What do you guys think? Is that going to be good enough, deep enough? Good morning, everybody. Hi, Adam. Hi, Antonio. Chandrasekhar. Jocko. Good morning to all of you. And appreciate you all being in here. 250, yeah. I'm showing actually 469 at the moment. And yes, do please be respectful, so everybody can enjoy this. This is a friendly place. We do instructional turning. We don't just do turning for the fun of it, but I want to be able to do some instruction along the way. Man, there's a lot of dust in there. Okay, well, we're going to get this out of the way, and we're going to start sanding. But to do that, I'm going to need to adjust things here just a bit. I'm going to have to turn on my sander, or my dust collector, I'm sorry, my dust collector, so bear with that sound. And we'll get in there and sand away. I'll turn this on. Okay, that's already brightening it up just a little bit. Make sure I get these sides in here. This bark, for those of you that don't know, this is Cork Oak. It's where you get the cork for your bottles and stuff, and you can see how thick the cork is. It's actually 1 to 2 inches thick, so that they can go in with a core and they core out, and they leave the tree intact, and they just go in and they core a lot of the cork pieces out of it, like this. And this is what a piece of that looks like. So this cork goes through a long life, and I'm sure this was probably planted back somewhere in the 1800s. The area where I got this, there was a lot of Armenian and Italian and Portuguese farmers, and they, of course, came over here. And one of the things they did in this valley, this is in Central California, is they grew a lot of grapes and a lot of figs. And grapes, of course, lead to table grapes, but also wine. So you need to have cork for that. And so what did they bring over? The Portuguese and others brought over the cork they were used to using, planted them, and then they had a way of sealing up their bottles. So this is probably part of that whole process a couple hundred years ago or so. So I think I got a little piece of history here in a sense, okay? Okay. I think we've got that one done. Let's go to the next. Go to the next. And you see the effects of a dust collector. It takes volume of air, including all the dust particles. That's a dust collector. And it's not a vacuum. A vacuum has to be put right on something in order to vacuum it up. This, see that? That's moving air. That's not a vacuum. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to do this. That's moving air, which is creating like a dust collector. That's what a dust collector does. A vacuum, you have to put it right on the source in order to get it to pick things up, because it's just picking up the particles. It's not moving volumes of air. In fact, it's kind of doing the opposite. It's creating a lack of air around the surface, so that things will come up. So that's kind of the difference there. So good to have both in your shop, a vacuum and a dust collector. Okay, last kind of. Go like that. And like that. That's feeling pretty good. Pretty even sides. I'm gonna get this right here a little bit. Now, one thing I did have to do when I was working on the outside is I had to put a little bit of thin CA glue all along this bark, just to make sure that it all held on. It does hold on pretty well. I mean, it does, but you can see this ridge here. That's a soft spot, and you could easily lose that bark. And if I'd lost the bark, that would have been disastrous, kind of, as far as the look of the bowl. So that was my key piece there. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bark cleaning up, and this is the right tool for this. These are little bristle brushes, and they have different grits, and they are just perfect for doing bark. It softens up the bark a little bit so it doesn't have sharp edges. You don't want to be aggressive with it. You just want to kind of take out those little sharp parts that don't feel good to your hand. And it gets into the crevices and gets any old dirt out of there. Dust. It's not really changing the form or the shape of that. It's just smoothing it down just a little bit, taking that edge off. Okay. I'll go over it with a much finer grade on here. This will get into the crevices a little bit more instead of just doing the top high parts. This is available at Amazon or other places. They're not hard to find, but I really recommend it, especially if you're going to do live edge bowls. This is the thing to use. Clean up that bark. It does take a little bit of control work on your part. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels much better to the hand. Okay. I'm going to vacuum this out just a little bit before we put the finish on. Otherwise, it'll get in there and cloudy up your finish. Let me grab my vacuum hose. Turn off the dust collector. This is a vacuum. See? Difference with a vacuum, it won't pick up anything. See, it hardly moves it unless you put it right on top of it. That's what a vacuum does. The vacuum is great for picking up dirt on the floor, things like that. I'm going to okay. While I'm here, I might as well clean up my mess a little bit. Get ready for the next one. We'll put some finish on this and set it aside. So, and I know I've said this before to a lot of you, but I have a on my channel that shows you how I made the my vacuum collection system, which is a lot quieter. You notice I can talk over it, no problem, even though it's built with a basic shop vac that has about 90, 93 decibels, I think is what I had it at. And in the shop right now, with the bevels that I built and so forth, we're at about 60 decibels. Easily, you can watch TV, you can talk to other people in the shop. You don't have to be wearing ear covers. It's not a screeching sound. I've broken up all that sound. So if you want some of that information, it is available on my channel. I've got a couple of videos on it, and you might want to take a look at those. I know, a shameless plug of what I'm doing, right? Hi, Edward. Hi, Jake and Alan. Boy, we're getting a lot of guys in here. Hi, Alan. Donnie, Jessic, Trubing, and I'm sorry, some of these I'm not going to be able to do a very good job on. And please say hi to Michael here. He's my moderator. So please, yeah, do our like numbers go up a little bit. And if you're having 400 people in here, you ought to have at least 100, right? You should have at least 100 likes. Hopefully, you like what I'm doing. I mean, if you do too, you can say that. But I do appreciate the likes and the comments, and certainly if you want to subscribe, that would be wonderful too. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers, and we want to get there pretty soon. So, okay, let's put this. Let's stop talking stuff and put some finish on this so you can see what it actually looks like when it has a finish on it. So, let me wipe this down just a little bit. Get some of the dust off the outside of this bowl. And when we're all done here, I'm going to show you what little was holding this on. People always think you got to have a big hold, and you don't. Okay. Get down in that hole, get it sealing a little bit. Get in here. Okay, let's see if we can start getting this. This is a little bit harder to brush. That's why I like using the brush and using this tung oil finish that I make. This is my own mixture, but it's nothing fancy, nothing any of you couldn't do at home too. I don't sell it or anything. I'm just saying I like to use tung oil because it goes in and it hardens the wood as it dries, and it sucks it in, and it tells. But as long as it keeps sucking it in, you keep giving it some more, and you'll get a really nice hard finish that'll last for many, 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 many years, and at least longer than I'm going to be around. So that's good enough for me. But I want people, if they buy something from me, I want it to be around for a while. Just like we all want to be around for a while. You're leaving a little bit of yourself when you make these things. So you want people to be thinking nicely of you. Not, oh boy, that guy really got me on that bowl. You didn't do a very good job. That's not the way I would want to be remembered. I'm sure you guys are the same way. If you're not a wood turner, maybe you're a woodworker, same idea, right? You want to be known for the craft that you do, and you want to be remembered for something you made for a family member or friends or sold to somebody. If you're a maker, you are remembered. Not many people know Steven Spielberg, but they'll remember his movies, right? And they'll also probably remember that weren't so good, or at least didn't do well in the theaters. So that's kind of the bane of that kind of celebrity. Is people remember the good and the bad of you. Anyway, I'm just talking while I'm working here. That's all. So this is already soaking in. Let me get you in there a little closer so you can see. What do you think, guys? I'm actually streaming on the on my iPhone, and it's using its high def. So this will be coming out in high def. So I don't know if you're if you're worrying about that or not. But hey, Jamie. Hey, Chase. New Beginnings. He's got some great videos out there, and he's been working hard on his shop. Which, by the way, Michael, when are we going to see some more of your videos? You promised us. You went live. I mean, you went. You did your first video. I know that, and now we want to see some more. Of course, I know Michael. Michael, you're the guy you see there listed as board hand. Um, might be kind of busy in the next few weeks, so you might have a big order for some turnings for a customer. And we're not going to jinx it by talking too much about it, but I certainly hope you get it. I already told you how to now you should expect your pay. Uh, we'll see how they come through with that, right? Oh, good. Hopefully this weekend. Great. Yeah, call me. Call her if you need later this evening or whenever. I'm going to be available. So if you have any questions about your turnings, certainly. And those of you that have my number, and there's a few of you out there. Um, I uh, I regularly get calls from some of the guys that you hear that you see in here. We kind of have a little brethren going on. I made a mistake one time. One guy, Ryan, 77 Rockets, was turning. So he was sitting on the floor turning actually, and I contacted him. Come to find out, we live just a few blocks from each other, and started talking. And then got in some other guys, and they all started getting lathes and started turning. And so I was doing instructional shorts. If you go on my channel, you'll see I've got about 50 or so short videos and about another 40 or so longer videos, all about the lathe, parts of the lathe, and what some of the things I like and don't like about the lathe. So about different things. So I don't sugarcoat it. I'm mostly a gouge kind of guy. I'm not a big carbide guy, but I don't discourage, especially new people, from using the carbides. They're getting better. Helps. I don't think that they have some of the qualities that you can get from a good set of gouges and scrapers. And I think scrapers are an underutilized, although getting more appreciated. Scrapers are a wonderful tool. Um, Especially as a finishing tool. I find that this is smooth and hard. That is nice. I'm kind of wiping that out. I'm going to let this take this off of here, and I'm going to show you what was holding this on. That right there, that about an eighth of an inch or so, is all that was holding this little bit right on the edge here. It was holding this. Oh, I'm guessing this is about 6 pounds now, but it's more like about 8 to 10 pounds when I started. That's all that was holding it on. And we had a crack, which I managed to get past a little bit, and then I also managed to seal and make disappear on the backside. And I have a video actually on showing you how to make cracks disappear. You don't hardly see the crack in here at all, but there is one right here. There is one right here. but at first glance you would not see that. You don't see it on the side here either. I made those cracks go away. So this is our bowl. That's the outside of the bowl. I like that burst. And I'll polish this up a little bit. I'll put it back on the lathe later, and one of the nice things about a recess here is that when you do the recess, something's leaking through. That's interesting. When you do a recess, you can go back and put it back on the lathe and do some more work on it. If you have a tenon, you cut the tenon off, you have no way of reattaching it on here easily. I mean, there are ways of doing it, but this is a much easier way to do it. And I didn't have to worry about cutting anything off. It's finished. I don't have to do that. So I'm going to put a little bit of finish on the bottom here. And I know this had a little bit of finish when it was first turned. If you're wondering about the music in the background, it's just gone because you don't get a for playing music that's 80 years old. If you have a regular radio station on and they can hear the music in the background, you can get a strike for playing music without paying a fee for it. But because these are beyond the copyright dates or the registration dates, they are not subject to that. So set this aside. Okay, and get ready for our next piece. Okay. This is a piece of birch. Just a little experiment on my part. I want to see, and this is about 5/8 of an inch thick with this on the end. And I want to see if I can make something out of this. We'll see. I can use the same rest on here. Now, the nice thing about this is I can spin it up. Now, what I have here is I have a onto this, so that because there's no room to do any kind of attachment on here, there's just not enough wood. So we will turn it. Hopefully, it'll hold on. It won't come flying off. And if this all holds, I'll then be able to go back and remove this glue with a hot gun and take it off and be able to sand it down and have a completed turning project. Now that's what it says here in the fine print. But turning something this small takes a little guts because I'm trusting on some glue. Hey Bruno. Hey Johnny. Yeah, that's the thing I like about birch. It's a beautiful wood. You can make pens out of this, and you'll get that beautiful lines in there. It just the wood speaks for itself. You don't have to do anything. That's kind of the nice feature of this. Okay, well, this is going to definitely need my helmet. because things are going to fly. Let me close. Things are definitely going to fly when I start turning this. First thing that's going to fly is the bark. You might as well just let it go. Now I'm going to have to do the more aggressive approach, I think. I'll stand over here. You can fly that way. See how close we are to round. Well, there we go. We are basically round here. Okay. I'll do a little scraping cut. Got a little soft spot on here. I don't want to take the glue off. That's the thing. Because I start going in here and I start taking that sealing glue off, and I lose a little bit of my surface here. So I gotta go up just a little bit. This turns very easily. Ooh, I didn't want to go over that. Got very little to play with here, so I gotta be really careful how I go down. Okay. You'll see how this wood starts to come alive. Here. You know, I'm going to go to a smaller spindle. All right, I think on this one. I think that one's too big. Dang, keeps doing that. What's dragging me over here? That right there. That's what it's hitting. A little bit of a branch piece there. Okay. This off a little bit. And that one little hard spot, that was causing that trouble. Okay, so let's kick up the speed a little bit. Now I got the shape. Now I gotta try a different. Has a little different angle to it. Well, that's the cooler, I think. Well, we'll split the difference. I'll go with this different angle. Well, this is really hard wood right in there. And again, this is where you want to be careful, because if I heat up that wood, it's going to heat up the glue, and this is going to come flying off. So I want to be real careful with that. Let's check this sharpness just a second here. Yes, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. A lot of you in here. Give this a quick sharpen. I'm going to change the angle on this just slightly. Good. Very much. Don't want to lose the glue in the process. Bear with me while I get this sharpened up. Get off the end here. At least, especially with this carbon, it's a very hard steel, and you need a CBN blade really to sharpen them, which I have. If you're going to get a sharpening system at all, I recommend you get a grinder that has a CBN wheel. It's worth the investment because you'll never buy one. The CBN wheel is made with basically metal embedded with diamond particles and so forth. And what it does is it will sharpen almost any hardness of steel, and it never loses its shape. A regular grinding stone, you're grinding away some of the stone every time you grind. So what happens is you get a groove in your bolt of your stone, or it just starts to wear on. It's not giving you the same angle. This one, I can set this angle, and I'll be able to do the same angle 50 years from now, and I'll still be the same wheel. So yes, they're expensive up front, but since you never have to get them again, I find that to be a pretty good investment. So this is a little bit sharper than I want it to be, but we'll see. A little bit more of an angle, than I want it to be. I don't want it to be too aggressive, but we'll see if I can make this work. Part of when you're working on something new, you kind of have to rethink your approach to some of those things, those pieces of wood sometimes. So there's my new angle. It's a little bit sharper, pointier angle. See how that works. I got to learn to. It's also really hot at the moment. So I might let me let that cool down for just a few seconds, okay? So I can put my hand in there. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about those, Mike. I was thinking about those keychain decorations you were talking about. I'm not sure. I mean, other than doing beads or something like that. Hey, if we could get to 200 likes, that'd be fantastic. I don't think any of our friends have ever done. Hey, Ryan, glad you could get up and be with us. I'm sure you've already been doing a lot this morning. You're pretty early riser. Let's see how this does now. Oh, yeah. Now, I will say this metal's really hot, so I can't get my hand in there like that right there. It is removing the wood. It's just a little bit, like I said, just a little bit pointier than I wanted it to be. I'm trying to very delicately get into the center here and not take too much out. Because you can't have too big of a bowl here. There we go. Huh. My wife is going to. Hi, Jen. Go ahead and let me move this just a little bit so you can get by here. There you go.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. We do share our shop. We're already getting a lot of orders for Christmas. Oh, that's about it, isn't it? Let's see, we're doing the wood. Yep, okay. That's a rough cut. Okay. Okay. And I think that's where I'm going to stop using that. We can go to our trusty little scraper here. Let's see if we can't get the rest of this down. Just a little bit more. I'm going to have to try and get into this corner without it getting jammed. I'm going to try this. Let's see. I think we're right at the bottom there. Because if I do this, yeah, it's going to be enough to sand it out. That's fine. But let's see. Try to make this a little bit sharper inside here. Not having much luck with that. I need something to help. Maybe this little handmade negative rake scraper will work right here. There. That's perfect for this. This is just a piece of steel that I managed to turn into a negative rake scraper, and that's doing a fine job. I think that's going to be it. Now I want to get the top here. Okay. I'm going to go back out to the outside here and get that kind of squared away a little bit. There's only so much I can do with this. We'll try. You see why I wanted to do that last, because I didn't want to take off any of the extra glue. And this way I can, I at least got everything else done first before I got into the glue. I do have one little piece. There's not much I can do about that. I might be able to fix it with a little glue magic. We'll see. Try a little glue magic. I'm going to try and do this here too. Put a little bit of dust on there, absorbs the glue. But you want to go opposite the scratch or the crack. Okay. Everything else, I got this one right here. I think I'll just leave those in. But I just wanted to see how I'd do on this. Just to see. Now it'll dry pretty quick because that dust will absorb the glue. Okay. So let's put some of these tools away. That one. We used a lot of tools to try and get this to work. Okay. We'll sand that down and you'll see this come to life. I think you like this one. Now remember that thing I filled in here? You don't even see it now. You can't even tell which one it was. Okay, we'll go to another grit. That looks great. Bring it over here. Let's see it. Huh. Working on. Oops. Got a little bit of glue there.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go. So you can see she's got the wheels and the pots and all that. Pretty cool. All made out of just little stuff from Dollar Tree and a little piece of wood and a little bit of ingenuity. Good job. I'll turn this on for just a second. You get a lot of dust in there. The thing about a wood like this is it sands really easily. You can sand right through things too. You gotta be careful. That's the I'm not sure we need to do much more, but I'll do the 240. Just for the big one. I'll reverse. Okay, that is really smooth. Birch turns very smoothly. Okay, turn off this noisemaker. Put a little finish on that. 10 away from 200 likes. That would be a record for us, I think. I don't think we've ever had 200 likes on one of our lives. That would be great. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're trying to get up to 1,000. We're at I think 700 and some odd right now. So if we could get up to 1,000, the YouTube gods will smile on us a little bit more. I don't have any sponsors or anything. I don't push anything. Not saying I wouldn't if the right opportunity came along, but if I ever did have any sponsors of any kind, the first thing I'd tell them is, I'm going to be honest. I'm old, I'm retired, and I don't really need this. So if I'm going to say something, it's going to be the truth. I'm not going to sit here and BS people just to get a free tool or something. So, hi, kitty. Our cat has no fear of the shop, which is kind of weird because we've had other cats that they don't like all that noise. He comes in. Of course, he thinks I've got food and I've got a big surprise for him. I don't have the food. It's in the house. So there he goes. Minute I said that, he leaves. I don't have the food. He says, fine, I got it. Okay. So it's starting to suck this up. There's these little bug bites and stuff, bug tunnels that were in here. This birch that I had, it had been taken down because it had bugs, and I've had some interesting encounters along the last year or two when I've been turning this. Every once in a while, I find one that's still alive and just happy as a clam living inside the wood. And you pick them out of there and, move on. But it is kind of interesting to find something still living in this dead tree, years after it's taken down, it's still providing food to something. Okay. I'm going to take this. I think I got the outside done. I think that's enough on the outside. So I'm going to take this. And just keep sucking this up. Now, sometimes when you put this on, it may raise the grain slightly. So I don't think I'll have to, but I might have to go back in and do it again. This is probably going to need a gloss finish simply because there's so much end grain along mixed with side grain in here that you get these circular patterns. See, it's like shiny, not shiny, shiny, not shiny. So putting a shiny finish on it will probably eliminate all of that and be able to take it in. But I want to make sure that it's that end grain pieces are sucking in every little bit of this that it can. I brush that on, and it's almost all gone. How many coats am I going to have to put in here? I mean, it is just eating this stuff up, which is fine. I mean, I want it to absorb all it can, especially because it's going to be a very delicate little piece. Here we are. I hope you can catch the colors in there without the light. I'm going to turn the light off for a second, see if that does better. If you can see better this way. But that's a beautiful little piece of wood. And that would have just been a scrap piece or something, like I said, it was only this thick. It's not very thick, maybe 5/8 of an inch. So you can turn plates, bowls, anything you want if you just find the right way of approaching it. So we'll knock that one down. We'll move on to our next one. See, it's already drying out. Again, man, as fast as I put it on there, it just, that's okay. See what you guys are doing. So, Ryan, I don't know if you're still in here. I guess you are. But Ryan, I hope you got everything ready for tomorrow. One of the things I was working on was price tags. It's hard to get price tags that'll stick to your pieces, so I might have to use little cardstock and just put cards inside with the price, and that might be what we have to do. I just hope the wind is blowing. All right, 200 likes. That'd be great. That's great. If you've got 200 likes, I'm happy as a clam. That's great. I hope we're getting some more subscribers also. Trying to do one on a Saturday, try and get some of our friends from overseas involved is kind of part of this too. Because we want to expand. So here's the next piece, and this is going to seem a little odd to you. This probably isn't going to work. I'm just saying right now, this may not work. This is very, very, very hard wood. I mean, it is like iron. Okay, and that's my miter, same as always. And miter 10 in there. And there's no cracks in this wood or anything. It's nice and solid. That's the good news. Let's see. Let's see if I can. It looks a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of wobble. So I'm going to see if maybe I get a better finish on that. Just a little tiny piece of any kind of fiber can affect the grip or the seating, because you want to have a flat seating so that the top of your chuck is sitting flat on there, and even as can be, and then it expands out and grips the sides. Okay, that looks pretty solid. Give another check. And I don't over torque. Do not over torque your wood. You're putting more pressure on that wood, and you'd be surprised how many times things can pop on you. So I really advise against over torquing. Don't under torque, but learn what feels. It's sort of like when you're working on a car. We used to be when you worked on a car. We don't do that anymore much. When you used to work on a car, you would torque down like your valve covers and stuff. You didn't want to go over a certain amount of pressure on that. In fact, they use torque wrenches simply because of that. And so here we go. We're going to try this and see what we come up with. I'm trying to adjust something there a little bit. Okay. Bring you in just a little bit. Well, let's see. I think we're going to put this. This is a small piece. Like I said, it was a really hard piece of wood, and I'm not even sure how I want to approach it. But we'll take out the trusty gouge, and we'll start with dealing with these screw holes. I'm gonna have to raise that up just a hair. There we go. Actually, a millimeter or something. Okay. Now, gotta get. That's the problem with these out of sight. Gotta have to approach them. Instead of getting through those screw holes, and I'm setting my edge. They're gonna have to deal with those. Now maybe I can go up in speed just a little bit more. I don't want to be going in and taking out too much at once. One of the advantages of a good hard wood is it does turn pretty cleanly. But it also creates a lot of heat. Whew. The tip of that blade is really getting hot. And it's easy to get excited and take too much off at once. See how it doesn't like it when I get it towards the middle? I get shattered. It just doesn't like that. It has to be taken off in the middle. Yeah, see, we're getting past those holes. Oh, we still got those screw holes a little bit. I put in some pretty good screw holes, I guess, when I did this. If some of you were with me the other day, you'll recognize this is the same piece of wood I used. I cut some of these slabs off of it, and you can see They don't break. There's no grain to break. Basically, it's just hard as can be. And I really like this piece here. So I used these, and I made a couple of pill box tops out of them. And if you didn't see that video, you might want to go back and look at that live about a week ago. And, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, if any of you are turning right now or working in the shop while you're listening to me, I'd like to know about that. You know, what are you guys working on? What do you like to do in the shop? Or maybe you're just thinking, boy, I'd like to have a shop and get going on that. Well, you can start a shop with a couple of sawhorses and a board outside. That was my first shop, and probably a lot of yours too. And that wasn't giving me a chance that time, so the grain must have changed just a little bit. It is really hard. I make sure I'm maintaining that straight down approacher and don't let it start Ving into the middle. That's one of the things that happens when you start coming in like this. You got to make sure you get all the way into the end, even a little bit past what you think you need to, just to keep that straight angle going down. I'm going to let that tool cool off just a hair. How are we doing over here? Jake's turning a piece of ash into an ash tray. Perfect. Perfect. You saw that piece of ash, that Modesto ash I was doing the other day. That thing was a monster. But I got some more of it. Right here. This is called Modesto ash. And it's on my pile of things to turn. See, I've already got it circled out here. And it's a beast. It's very, very heavy. I've been trying to get it to dry out a little bit more before I put it on here. But in fact, you can see where it's warped. That was straight. And that's the warping that it's done since I trimmed it down. All this. So I hope you can see that in the picture. I don't know. But it's hard stuff. At least my ash is. I hope your ash is a little bit easier. Oh, you're asking the piece that I'm turning right now? Yeah, LJ, drilling the center out to the depth and then dealing. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. And I was considering doing that. Maybe I should. We can give that a try too. Sometimes I drill it out, or I'll use a little Forstner bit. I just kind of wanted to see what I could do, with my hand tools this time. Because I like discovering what's in the wood as we go. So I think you're absolutely right, LJ. That's really the better way to approach some of these ones, especially a small piece like this. It's not a very deep piece. I mean, it's only a little about not even 2 inches, about 2 inches maybe, and we're about a third of the way into it. So I think I'll just rather than set it up, I think I'll just keep going at it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Using a drill bit to get your depth and then working back from that is definitely a quicker way. Sometimes I just like to put my brain in neutral a little bit. This piece of wood, I'm not 100% sure. I thought this was bloodwood or something along those lines. I do not remember because I got this years and years and years ago as a blank, and I lost the thing on it. It what did have a reddish color to it. It has kind of a neutral smell to it, a little bit like a fruit wood or like an orange. So it could be blood orange for all I know, but it's whatever it is. It's hard as heck, and we are in the middle of the one of the biggest agriculture and fruit sections of the world right here. Right here in this part of California, we grow pistachios that are sold all over the world. We're one of the biggest pistachio makers. We're the biggest almond makers. We are the raisin capital of the world. We make table grapes by the billions of pounds, I think. We grow just about everything that America eats. Everything from cantaloupe to garlic to tomatoes. We have some big tomato processing plants here like Contadina and Del Monte and others. This is just a huge agricultural region for not just California, but for the whole United States and for the world. They sell all across the world markets. We have one of the largest citrus growing areas of the country. So there's no lack of good fresh fruit and vegetables. The joke is they always say, well, the best fruits and vegetables go to the bigger cities where they can charge a higher price for them than they can get here in the area because people know what good product looks like and they don't need to pay as much for them. So I guess there's some economics to that. I used to live in an area where they grew lettuce down in the southern part of the state, and all the big heads of lettuce would go back to New York because they could check off the first couple of leaves because they got old on the traveling and charge 2 or 3 times what they were charging in the stores in our area for that same head of lettuce. So we would get what were called the seconds, which was still perfectly fine. Some of you guys that live in the whiskey making areas like Scotland and the American South and so forth, you get the best whiskey or you get the second best whiskey, and the best whiskey ends up in a bottle going somewhere else. That's turning really nice now. Yeah, I think we got the right rhythm going here. Just something kind of satisfying doing it this way. Whoa, here for coming up. Okay. So where are we at now? We are at. We still got way to go. And just for those of you that ask, I do have a depth gauge. I just like using my finger because it's handy. But I do have a couple depth gauges here that I can use if I needed to. But this is perfectly salvageable way of doing it, just to get an eyeball. I'll make sure I'm not V'ing in. I think I'm V'ing in just a little bit. I gotta try and take a little bit out of that. Let's try to get everything evened out here. Okay. Yeah, we're getting down there now. I think I'll use my negative rake scraper here to get in there a little more. See if I can get you a little bit better picture. Okay. little bit more in there. I think that's about right. I'll use this just to get the sides a little bit. Sharpen them just to here. Like a little ridge right there I want to get rid of. Keeps creating a ridge for me right there. Now, I have to go back to the gouge. Well, I'll use the carbide here. Maybe that'll get in there a little bit better. There. Yeah, that's nice and thin. Okay, I think this is ready for sanding up. Well, that held. That miter just keeps holding for me. Miter tenon. Let's see. Yeah, let's spin that. Always angle in just a little bit on your turnings. It makes the eye flow a little bit better. Just down into the bowl. A little bit of end grain right in there. I don't know if I can get it with the sander or not. Again, we don't want to sand through the bottom either, or the sides. We do need to keep track of that. Okay, and we'll finish it off with this last one. reverse. Okay. Move it back and forth. Okay. Right. I'm going to take this vacuum to that just to kind of get that cleaned out a little. Ah, we're talking about whiskey. Okay, wasn't sure what we were talking about there. I'm sure that Mike could hook us all up with some good stuff if it wasn't for the import issues. You know, maybe if you mark it as a box of wood or build a wooden case for it, that might be one way. If they ever do open it up, you say, "Oh, I forgot I left the whiskey in there when I was making the box." Plausible cause, right? Boy, there's a lot of sawdust came out of that. I have a 5-gallon collector over here on my my vacuum, and I empty it out at least once a week with 5 gallons of sawdust. Now, I used to put it in the garden, but you kind of have to be careful because some wood is kind of poisonous. So some woods you don't want to put in your garden because it gets sucked up into the nutrients and the fruits and vegetables that you're growing. So that's not always a good thing. So be careful what you're putting down. But sawdust does make a really good compost, or just a holder for water that uncovered ground. So certainly make use of it when you can. Sometimes I just have to send it off. I wish I could make my own Presto logs or something, compressed logs and use them in the fire, but we're not allowed to burn in California because every time somebody lights a fire in California, everybody burns, it seems like. So we try not to do that, but mostly it's because of the air. We want to watch our air. Some rare small bones. Now, I'm not sure, Mike, why Turn Sun Plot is saying hi like 7 times in a row. We might want to check that. 782 subs. So that means I got about 150 subs today. If you guys can all subscribe, we can get to 1,000. We'd like to get to 1,000 subs. But let's finish this bowl off. And this will be number 3 for the day. 3 in 2 hours. That's pretty good. That's pretty good time. Of course, to be fair, a couple of those had some previous work in my other live, and we just had to stop because that live went 3 hours. And I'm not sure we're going to do that today, but I want to give people a chance to go do what they need to do around their own houses and be with their families on a weekend too. And I'm sure my wife at some point is going to want to say hi to me, even though she sometimes, I think, enjoys the fact that I'm out here and not bothering her in there. But I don't know that for a fact. And you've been married 47 years, something like that. It's you kind of find your spaces to be apart from each other, not to be apart, but just to give yourself a little space in between. What do you think, guys? Get a better view here. I'm going to turn this light off to get a more natural look at it. There we go. It's not picking it up on the camera quite as well as I think it is in person because I got some real chatoyance here that's just gorgeous. And chatoyance is when you get that light dark effect and it shines out like it's almost lit up or something. It's here and it's on this side here and it's a little bit on the inside. Like I said, I'm letting this kind of get in there and dry a little bit. I don't want to just take it off, so I'm going to let that set for a couple minutes. Maybe we can talk here. So, guys, let's talk. This is the time to do it. Hi, Farids. Salute. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, guys. If you're overseas or over in I guess in India and Australia and those places, you're probably getting into evening at this point. About an 18-hour difference, so yeah, might be bedtime almost for some people in the South Pacific at this point. And for the rest of you, it's just time to get up almost if you're getting to Hawaii. Well, in Hawaii, it's only like what 5 o'clock in the morning right now, so it kind of goes all over the place. We need to get 7 more likes, folks. Just get 7 more likes, and we can end this thing. So please, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I would really appreciate it, and we can set our own little record here. 7 more likes would be perfect. There's 200 people watching right now, and I don't know if all of you have hit the like button, but if you haven't, please take the 2 seconds it takes to hit the like button, or double tap your phone. I guess is one way of doing that too. But if we get 7 more likes, we'll be at 200 likes. And in fact, maybe I can get my wife to be one of them. Yeah, that did come out nice, isn't it? Just letting that dry out a little bit before I take it off. So that's the. I need to turn this just a little bit so it doesn't pool. Here we go. So while we're looking at that, I'll show you something. I put a little video up of this last night, actually, of prepping this. This is called Jeffrey pine. It's kind of it's akin to a yellow pine, but it grows mostly in California and a little bit in some parts of Nevada. And as you can see, it's a very straight pine. It's not white pine. It is harder. It's very hard pine because it grows very slowly. And they can grow up to 60 to 70 feet tall or more. They kind of have a distinctive three ball needle section, and their cones are very tight, not like a sugar pine, but similar. And I thought, well, okay, I would take and give me this big piece. I'll show you the other half here. And you can watch the 1 minute short that I did and posted. But it came off of a piece that was like so. And I had to cut this part off because this is the pith. And that's where you get your cracks, because wood dries fastest on the end grain and cracks always around the pith. So you want to remove the pith whenever you are starting creating a blank. So you really need a piece of wood that's this big if you want a bowl that's this big. It's kind of the downside of it. But if you get it right, I mean, theoretically, I could have cut right here and cut another piece here, and I'd have a small piece for making other bowls, but that'd be an awfully small bowl in this case because this was a branch. This was not made part of the trunk. So, but I was assured that this has been down for a while. So if that's the case, it probably has already dried out pretty well. Let me see. I'll see if my wood meter is working here, and we'll try that. And it says 9.8 on this one and 9.6, 9.8. Yeah, about 9.8. So it's a little tiny bit wet, but not much. It's pretty much in the range to be turned. So if it's already pretty dry, that's a good sign it's not going to crack. Now, the downside, of course, is this is pine, and pine has very rough end grain. And end grain is really hard to smooth out, even with the best shear cuts. You're going to get a little bit of rough spots, and you have to be able to sand that out. And here's the problem: when you sand something out, you're mashing down. You have to be careful you're not mashing down the grains, because when you mash down the grains, you get a muddy end or muddy finish, and then it doesn't look good when you're turning it. If you can slice those grains nice and sharp and smooth, you can get a pretty good finish on it, and it won't look muddy. So, things to consider when you're working with your end grain, and especially with softwoods. Like pine tends to be a relatively soft wood. I'm going to go ahead and take the wipe on this on the outside. Looks like it is picking up most of what we're putting down here, and I'd say it's pretty well saturated, because it, like I said, it was a pretty thick, hard wood, and it's not going to be as thirsty as some other woods. Okay, so let's liberate it. If I can find my tool. Oh, here it is. Let's liberate this from its captor, and there we have. I'll turn the light on here. And see the bottom there? And I'll probably go back and polish this with a little bit of wax. Well, maybe I should do that right now. I'll put a little wax on it right now while I've got it hitched up. Use a little feed of wax. Okay, let's turn this on. I want to double check myself here before I have something flying off on me. Okay, here we go. Feed and wax is pretty nice stuff. It's inexpensive, and it has a nice orange smell to it. Of course, the stuff I put on has nice kind of lemon oil smell, so we've gone from lemon to orange. So we got a very tropical finish on this. All I need is some coconut oil, and I'd be all set. There we go. Okay. There. I will put this aside. And we've got another bowl out of the way. Okay. Well, I was thinking of trying one of these. See. So how are we doing? We're getting, it says 260 likes and still climbing. Well, let's keep going. We'll try and put one more, do one more here. And I'm not certain how this will go. I have no clue, actually. Yeah, that's hard. Okay, well, that's good news. I'm going to have to get my drill here. Drill a little pilot hole. Good. This particular faceplate has a screw in the center of it, so you can really get it right on the mark and then put your other pieces on. And I can already see this is going to be a little bit off. That's okay. Give this a little starting hole. Should be able to go in though. That is hardwood. There we go. That is hardwood. But that's good. That's a little self-driving screw. Oops. There we go. And I don't think I'll need to do more than 4 on this. So let's take this off. Get this on here. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. A little swing music. Like that. Oh, yeah. Always something new. Okay. What do you think, guys? Let's keep going. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate you you helping out there. Let's Mike, you get me up to those numbers, and I'll have to buy you a pint somewhere. You want to come through? You need to come through? Oh. Okay. Okay. Look up there. Oh. I've got the view up here on our big screen TV in the shop, and she was trying to look at it on my computer. I have to get it up there too sometime. Oh, look at those nice little pearls. Look at those, huh? That's nice, huh? Well, it's straightening right out here. Get a little closer. I'm going to pull back just a bit so you guys can get a better view. Sorry. My fault. I was getting too close. I'll let you see what that looks like. There. Like I said, nice. Those are really nice and dry too. But they're coming off almost like wet ones. So that's kind of cool. This might actually be a nice bowl after all. He was going to throw these in his fire pit. I might have to go back over and knock on Dan's door and say, hey, Dan, can I have a couple more pieces of that? I'm not usually a fan of turning. Fine. But look how fast that's going. And it does have that rough edge end grain like I talked about. But we'll smooth that out some. Right now we're just writing this right here all the way up. And when you do that and you start at the bottom, and you write it all the way up. I'm just kind of taking a little bit off now. But okay, we are almost round. I'm going to give this a little bit of a cave in here. Okay, now we got to go in the bottom here. And nice flat bottom on here, just like mine. Check it. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit more. There we go. That's pretty nice flat surface. Okay. And we got one little bug hole there, but I don't think that'll be a problem. I gotta clean up this edge a little bit. Okay. Now we just need to do a little hokey pokey here in the middle. Get that out. Nice clean edge. See how close we are. Gotta come out just a little bit more. I'd rather have to cut a little more out than to have to put more back in because it's pretty hard to put something back in. A little bit more. And remember, when you're cutting in, you're doubling it. Whatever you cut in here, you're doubling it over here, so you're making it twice as wide. So you got to be really careful. I think that'll be right. Oh boy, I'm just still a hair small. Okay. Well, like I said, I'd rather inch up on it. Great. It's already looking nice. Darn. Boy, guys, I'm sorry. I'm a little off my game this morning, it looks like. That should definitely do it. Yep. Now we're in there. Okay. If you haven't already, please hit that like button or subscribe. We'll try and make this an epic morning. Set the bar up for the next guys. And if you haven't already, please look at the 77 Rockets. Ryan there, he's going to be doing a live later today. And today he did one with Mike from Whacking Shack last night. If you look up 77 Rockets, also may want to look up Timber Designs and Boondock Builds. I'm sure Mike can put all the appropriate ones up there for everybody. So Mike or Ryan, whichever one is over there, you can put up everybody's channels so people can get a chance to see them too. That would be great. I'm going to try and get this, especially this end grain, nice and polished up. Seems like I got end grain all over the place on this. The way the pattern went. But we'll see. Okay. Turn this on so go backwards. Okay. Wow, that's already feeling pretty nice. I'm gonna have to change out these sanding pads pretty soon. These amount of about 6 holes so far. And that's about the life expectancy. But if you buy quality sandpaper, you expect it to last through a few holes. Not have to replace it every time. Or through a few pins or something if you're doing pins. This is going to have some nice color that comes through with this. When you put the finish on it, you're going to see it. It's going to have an interesting, have a very interesting kind of color pattern to it. You're going to see a little bluish, a little red, grays, all the different minerals that it's picked up over the centuries or so that it's been growing. All right. We'll go to the next one. Like Mike said, if you can help us get those extra lights, if you'd like to get to 300, that'd be great. I think if you can do it, we're really close. Or if you have more than one account, consider going back in with your other account and signing up again. And so, like, I don't know if my father-in-law is watching this morning, but if he is, Dad, hit the like button. He's been 90 years old and still chugging along, and he was quite the craftsman himself. He likes to watch our videos. I want to give a shout out to him too. Okay, turn that off. Okay, so let's put we'll burnish this just a little bit here. Get some of that dust off of there. Okay, we'll put a little finish on it, or sealing, and you're going to see this pop just a little bit. It's not going to get dark or nothing, but it is going to shine a little. The colors are going to pop out of it. Yeah, there's some orange in here I wasn't expecting. A little orange look in it. And it's already sucking that up. Even before I get it on all the way. That end green is just sucking this up. That's good. I would take a nice big drink of this and it'll harden that wood. Boy, it's just fast as I'm putting this on here, it's disappearing. Again, the music you're hearing in the background is mostly because it's not copyrighted anymore. I can play it and not get a strike from YouTube. So that's why we're not playing, rock music or something, because then you get your hand slapped and they put a little mark on your video, or they don't let you post your video because it's got unapproved music on it. So that's why I play this in the background. Okay, what do you guys think? Getting a little bit closer here. There's the orange I was talking about. Little bits of bluish and gray right in here. So it's a more interesting piece than it was a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to let that kind of dry up a bit. Thanks, New Beginnings. I appreciate that. Jace. I guarantee some of you haven't liked this yet. Yeah, well, like it or dislike it or whatever you want to do. I'd just be happy if you guys chatted in here a little bit more. So a while ago, we were waiting for 24 people to make likes. I don't know what the number is right now. See, we have 124 watching. Oh, we dropped to 80. I guess I better get moving here again. Well, to the 80 that are in here, I am finishing this side of the bowl so we can turn it around. This is Jeffrey pine, and it's a lot harder than most pines, and it turns, as you can see, really well. It turns almost like olive wood does. I think this is the last coat I'm going to be able to put on here for now, simply because it's just sucking this all in. I put 3 coats on here, and it's still sucking it up. So I'm going to do a little wiping here. That is really nice and smooth. That has a nice feel to it. I don't even think I want to put wax on that because I think it would kind of ruin that nice feel it's got right now. I like that. It's like you can feel wood, but it doesn't feel like the wood you're used to feeling, If that makes sense. You're touching something substantial. Okay, so we need to get the screwdriver or the drill and put in reverse. Take these out. Ooh, it's a little warm. You're in hard wood when just twisting a screw out like that makes the screw hot. It means it's creating a lot of friction, and you get a lot of friction with hard wood. So there we go. Here we go. Put the trusty chuck on. And yes, I do have other chucks. This one just happens to be the workhorse today. I have some of the others actually set up to do a couple other things, and I don't want to take the rips off and redo them. So let's see how true we're running. pretty good. I'll just adjust that a little bit, see. Okay, let's see again. Actually, that's worse. I'm going to go back and adjust that. One of the problems you have with some wood, you want to make sure that this is cleaned out. It does seem to be good. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm in there flat. Okay. There we go. That's good. Okay, so we'll just double check that. And shouldn't ever have to adjust that again. Okay, this is going to be our last one of the week of the day. Let's see if we can get through this, okay? This one should go pretty quickly, barring any issues.